Hello, this is JRoach82 coming at you from Hammond, Indiana. And today I'm gonna talk a little bit about why I review bad movies. Because they're so freaking hilarious, I tell you. I mean, I don't like to poke fun at other people's expense, that's not my thing and stuff, It's just that if you're gonna do a movie, at least make it kind of decent, not like where it's like so boring or so dull that you have to make jokes about it and stuff, because that's just not it, And I watch these bad movies because, growing up as a kid, the first movie I ever seen that was a bad movie, I remember I was like 12 years old, and I went to this video store, and I picked up a movie called Invasion of the Bloodformers. Right then and there, something should have told me that that movie was going to be stupid. Because, first of all, the title itself was stupid, okay? Invasion of the Bloodformers. I thought it was going to be a pretty decent little movie, not thinking, because back then I didn't have my stupid hat on, so I thought it was going to be a pretty good movie, and then when I brought it home and watched it, I was like, I don't get it. So I kept it, in memories of the store and all, where I got it from, because after I bought the movie, they closed down, which was kind of tragic, because I didn't get to finish all my Friday the 13th collection off. I had to actually order it from Columbia House and stuff, and they had all the sequels, all the collections of Friday the 13th, and of course, one of my favorite movies that I will never make fun of, but I will actually do a review on, is Sleepaway Camp. All four parts of Sleepaway Camp I enjoy. I've always been a big fan of homicidal maniacs and stuff, so it's a pretty cool series, Sleepaway Camp. I remember that they showed part 3 on Chiller just recently and stuff, and I was like, all right, finally the movie's getting some justice, and I watched it with some popcorn and enjoyed it. I've always been a big fan of I've always been a big fan of bad movies, because I always find something to make fun of it with and stuff, So, a lot of people, I used to do this thing called Bad Movie Night and all, where me and my friends, we'd get together, after school, and we would just watch these really bad movies that I bought at the video store and stuff, and we would just sit there and laugh. Now, you might think, why would you buy these movies? Why? What were you thinking? Well, the thing is, I had money to burn, I didn't care and stuff, so, I'd watch, Ninja Terminator, I had that on VHS and stuff, and I'd sit there and just crack a joke about it and stuff. My friends would just come back with more jokes, and, a lot of people might say that it was a waste of money. To me, it wasn't really a waste of money, because we enjoyed the movie, because we had moments with the movie, we shared jokes about it and stuff, and it was funny, stuff that we came up with and all. I've always been a big fan of bad movies, though. My friends are even, some of my friends are big fans of bad movies and stuff, because, to me, any publicity is good publicity. That's my belief. Whether a movie sucks, you can make fun of it. If a movie's boring, you go to sleep on it, wake up, make fun of it. Exploitation movies are the same way. Exploitation movies, there are certain exploitation movies that are funny as hell, and I've always been a big fan of the exploitation movies. I've talked about numerous exploitation movies. Sooner or later, I'm gonna watch Welcome Home, Brother Charles, which is a black exploitation movie. It also goes under the name Soul Justice. I'm going to watch that movie and do a review on it, on whether or not I like it and stuff. I seen the trailer. Actually, I got this collection of Grindhouse trailers, and they show that movie in the Grindhouse trailer collection that I got, and I was like, you know what, this looks like a pretty badass movie. I got to check it out. So, I decided I was going to rent it from the video store, and they didn't have it, so I was like, okay, well, I'll just buy it from Amazon.com, and I bought it for like $3, you know, so. I think that, you know, we live in a dying age nowadays where everyone in Hollywood, their brains are not thick enough to handle, like, doing a original movie based on an original thing. You know, and nowadays you got all these directors that's coming out of the woodwork and stuff, and they're not doing remakes. They're doing, like, these really cool movies, but at the same time it's like, not so good because it's PG-13. You know, it's not rated R and stuff. And they got some pretty good movies out now, but they're not as good as the classics and stuff, you know, and I think that that's what society's missing, is the classics. So that's why Hollywood decided they're going to do remakes and stuff, you know. It's like, oh, let's remake, but they do crappy remakes, that's the thing. I mean, like Psycho, with Vince Vaughn in it and stuff. That movie was, you know, not as good as the original Psycho. It was terrible and stuff. And, you know, and Quentin Tarantino, he does these good movies and stuff that's not remakes. They're like sequel, except for Inglourious Basterds. That was a remake of an Italian movie from the 70s. But, you know, Quentin Tarantino, he sticks to his game plan, you know. And Rob Zombie, he had some pretty damn good movies. You know, House of a Thousand Corpses, Devil's Rejects. You know, all these, you know, Halloween was kind of like, nah, not really. And the reason why was because I watched the documentary for Devil's Rejects, and Rob Zombie actually said that he would never do a remake. Well, he didn't say, like, quote, unquote, he would never do a remake, but he said something in the lines of not doing a remake, and then after Devil's Rejects, he pops up with Halloween 2. It's like, yeah, it's kind of hypocritical. You know, it's kind of like, you know, it's kind of like me saying, well, I will never eat a Big Mac, and then, like, after I'm done eating at Burger King, I go and buy a Big Mac. You know, it's just, you know, I kind of lost hope in Rob Zombie a little bit, you know, even though he's a damn good director. You know, he does some pretty damn good shit. You know, it's kind of like, nah. But Quentin Tarantino and Rob Zombie are my two favorite directors. My favorite actors are David Hess. I love David Hess. David Hess is like the main, he's like the total badass, you know. He's like the kind of, he's the guy that, you know, he don't have to prove he's a badass. He just knows he's a badass, you know. That's what I like about his characters and stuff. Because, you know, back in the 70s, he vowed he would never do like badass sociopathic people ever again in his later career. But in his early career, he was like this real rough, tough guy that could make any man his bitch. You know, he could just whoop your ass, and you'd be like kissing his feet and stuff. You know, he was like the ultimate dominatrix guy. You know, he was a badass. And Bill Moseley, oh my God, Bill Moseley, he knows how to roll the jokes. You know, Bill Moseley is like my favorite. I loved him in Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2. I think they should have kept him on the Texas Chainsaw Massacre franchise because he was so cool. You know, but that's some of my favorite actors. Another one of my favorite actors is actually Robert Englund. Yeah, Robert Englund's awesome. Freddy Krueger, he was the originator behind Freddy Krueger. He was it. You know, he had that persona that made him Freddy Krueger. You know, he could do any other role he wouldn't be so good at, but Freddy Krueger, he was like, and 2001 Maniacs, he was good in that movie too. That was like another one that was cool. And I'll be doing a review on 2001 Maniacs in my 2001 Maniacs collection. So stick around for that, okay? This is J Roach A2 saying if you see a flying spaghetti monster, stick a fork in it. It's done. Peace. How do I turn off this thing?